Hey, 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 y'all. Give me 1 second. Uh-oh. Perfect. All right. Okay. All right. Fantastic. I'm just checking everything and making sure that we are all the way good to go. So I checked my YouTube live. Hold on. I just want to check it again. Period. Checking my Instagram live. Let's see. Is it coming through? Yes, it is. Okay. Hi, y'all. This is Colby R. Rice, and I am back with officially day one of our Cozy Creator Month, where every single day I'm going to be hosting live mini writing lessons and also doing a collective write-in or collective create-in. So if you are in the mood, I know probably a lot of you are actually getting out on Friday night, nothing wrong with that. But for those of us who are homebodies, okay, don't judge. We're going to be coming together tonight and pretty much every day throughout the month of November to write together and create together. Okay. And so what that means is that I'm going to start off each one of our writing sessions with a mini lesson, super mini lesson. And the topic for today is fleshing out our ideas. If you missed it, yesterday we did like an intro as to how this entire thing is going to work. And I mentioned a couple of things. I'll do a very brief recap actually. Let me share my screen with you guys. Let's share the screen. And here we go. Okay. And okay, let me just go back. Actually, as a reminder, there are a lot of things happening today and throughout the month. Number one is that you can join my Cozy Creator giveaway, which is running the entire month of November. The link to it is available in the description below. Again, we'll be writing daily, creating daily, and we're about to start our mini class. And as you can see it behind me, my virtual writing cafe is open so that we can write together and you can grab some free sci-fi and fantasy novels, which I will pop up on the screen and also will be available in the description below. Totally free, totally consensual, and it's a mutual promotion between myself and other sci-fi and fantasy authors this month so that you guys can grab up as many new authors and new titles as your little heart desires and curl up with them very cozily throughout the month. Okay, so also as I reminded you guys, and let me actually present, what am I doing? Hello. As I also reminded you guys yesterday, our first topic of the month is going to be about fleshing out our ideas. So let's move on to that. And as I'm getting to that slide, apologies. I was supposed to go live early this morning, but a lot of stuff happened. There's a lot of stuff happening this evening too, just like life stuff, including the fact that I voted today, period. Yay for early voting. So if you have not voted and you have the opportunity to, regardless of who you vote for, please make sure you go and get your vote out and get your voice heard, whether it's early or on the day of. I prefer early because I do not like lines. Okay. All right. So let's move forward. Sorry, I'm just like kind of zooming through. Let's talk about fleshing out your story ideas. Okay. And mind you, there is no particular right or wrong way to do this, but I do have some suggestions for you. And actually, I'm going to actually create a slide specifically for like what you can do to work through your story ideas. Right now, I'm just kind of talking through the concept, but I will create a follow-up slide so that for those of you who are actually interested in developing your story idea more methodically, you'll have that as a reference, okay? But for right now, if you're attending, just take some notes or you can open a Google Doc on your Google Drive, whatever it is you want to do as we go through this. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I am doing to flesh out my story ideas just in general. So at heart, and a lot of you guys might not know this about me, I've lived kind of like a double life, right? In the past, I've always been a writer, but when you're coming up, Nobody ever tells you, hey, go be a novelist, because that's a really viable career path. Like, nobody ever says that, right? So on the path of me, legitimizing like my career and my ambitions, I was once pursuing a doctoral degree in sociology. So my undergraduate degree is in sociology with a minor in anthro. And my subsequent master's degree, my MS, is also in sociology, which I got along the way to becoming a doctoral student. I ended up not becoming a doctoral student and ended up leaving with the master's in hand. Super excited about that for other reasons. It just wasn't for me ultimately. That particular discipline was not for me at the doctoral level, but there might be some other doctoral aspirations in the future. Anyway, let's get back to it. The reason why I mentioned the fact that I am a sociologist and data scientist essentially at heart is because a lot of the things that I write about as a sci-fi and fantasy author tend to ask sociological questions, or tend to take a sociological quandary or a sociological thought that I have, or a philosophical question that I have. It tends to take that question to its logical conclusion, right? Or I tend to try to decipher and understand the world around me through the art of storytelling. So I'll give you an example. Um, in the books of Ezekiel, which you guys, if you were on my live yesterday, you would have seen kind of like the whole layout of the series. The crux of that story is about a teenage gun runner who is also an alchemist, right? However, she is an alchemist in a civilian world, right? And there are other alchemists in a more elite, highborn, pure blood world called basically the alchemic order. So there's the alchemic order, which are like the high order, pure blood, aristocrat alchemists. And then there's the civic order, which are obviously like the struggling, lower to middle class, war torn alchemists, right? And the practice of alchemy, the uh, the bounties and the abundance of alchemy is basically supposed to be reserved for the alchemic order, who also call themselves Azure alchemists, and there's a whole history behind that. So anybody who is a civilian who also practices alchemy is immediately put to death, because they are not entitled to those benefits, because they are not citizens of the alchemic order. However, the alchemic order does provide a pathway to citizenship for civilians, but it has to be according to the rules and regulations and limitations of the alchemic order. You have to essentially completely eschew your former identity as a civilian and step into becoming an assimilated Azure alchemist as a part of the alchemic order. There's a lot of history, a lot of brutality, and a lot of oppression behind this citizenship requirement. And unfortunately, our main character, Ezekiel Annan, who is the forbidden civilian alchemist, who's also a gun runner, she's just a teenager. She's just a kid trying to navigate her way through this oppressive system. And unfortunately, what is also poisoning the well is that a group of insurgents, civilian born insurgents called the Knights of Almo, aka COA, they are actively resisting the alchemic order. They are actively antagonizing the order. They are essentially a terrorist group, right? Who wants to preserve the sanctity and the citizenship and the independence of the civic order. And they maintain, rightfully so, that civilians have the right to practice alchemy and still also remain who they are and not have to eschew their identities in order to have this access to resources. And alchemy essentially has become a major, major resource. And I'm not going to get into like all the rules and regulations and how alchemy is like attained, but it is a resource, and it's a heavily guarded resource by the alchemic order. So I provided all that background to you guys to say that obviously you can see some very clear parallels between a lot of things that are happening in our modern day and our current day. Unfortunately, a lot of the things that are happening right now that are underlying a lot of the tensions in our political climate and in the political climate in the Middle East. There's a lot of resonance there. Even though originally when I was building this series, I wasn't necessarily thinking about the Israel Palestine conflict per se. It was only when my editor really brought that to bear. You know, he was like, "Wow, this sounds like a lot of what's going on." Over there. I was like, that's very interesting. And so I started learning more about that. And people who are reading this series, you're going to see elements of that, right? But then there are also elements of Black history, like in terms of like my identity as a Black woman, a Black writer, a BIPOC writer, and questions that I have about citizenship and what's considered to be truly assimilated, right? Because as you guys, if you read the series and you keep reading, as you see, like, not all assimilated civic alchemists who have actually crossed over to Azure territory are treated equally with natural born Azures, right? So there's a whole lot of different layers in which that kind of underlie my entire world, the alchemical world of Ezekiel Annen and the books of Ezekiel, that essentially are being translated and adapted into a world of magic and into a world where you have, alchemical, not only powers, but you have an alchemical hierarchy even inside the Azure Order. So you'll also see that like not all is right with Camelot over in the Alchemic Order as well. There is a lot of class oppression, so to speak, hierarchical deference that has to be given over in the Alchemic Order. It's very much harking back to oligarchy, harking back to sort of like a monarchical setup. So there are all these different things that are being translated from our real worlds, both past and present, into this larger fantasy world. And then, of course, you have like fight scenes, chase scenes, gun fights, magic fights, monster fights. I mean, it just has everything. And you get to follow the perspectives of four people in that story, right? Ezekiel as the girl who's trying to survive with her little sister. And for those of you reading that, you might see some elements of like a Hunger Games-ish perspective. This is not the Hunger Games at all, respectfully to the series, but like, a very typical dystopian world setup, right? But then you follow the path of a mercenarial killer who is on the side of the alchemic order, and he has very specific beliefs about what the world should look like. You follow the footsteps of a politician that's trying to navigate the political tensions between the civic order and the alchemical order, and how his own citizenship comes to question because he is an ally to the civilians, but he's also trying to maintain his high position as a high-ranking Azure and, somebody belonging to like the literal Azure elite. And then you follow the steps of Caleb K. Rye, who has his own very how do you say, complicated history with the alchemical order, very much, in a high place and in a position to which he does not want to belong, right? But he also forms a very fast big brother friendship relationship with our main character, Ezekiel. And they're both trying to navigate the fact that they are on opposite sides of this war, and that Ezekiel on her end is trying to, so to speak, like walk the lines of survival and trying to figure out if she can trust this Azure, who has really like, she doesn't understand his investment, right? He doesn't even understand his investment, but they see each other for who they are, and that's two vulnerable human beings, right? So there's a lot of macro conflict, meso conflict, and then micro conflict when you go from the larger world to social groups fighting each other to individuals. And so when, I guess to make a long story short, when I'm fleshing out a story idea, I take a question, number one, that I have about the world. I look around and see what bothers me. I look around and see what confuses me. I look around and see what makes me curious. And that becomes a story. Okay. And then from there, I start to think about a lot of what if questions, right? Because I know there are a lot of stories about wizards, alchemists, and things of that nature. But I'm like, what if I had a main Black female character, right? Who is an alchemist, not seen really that much. We don't really see Black women as like those types of main characters that often. So that's a unique point. And then let's sweeten the pot by like making her really good with the gap, right? Like she knows how to build them. She's like at the top of her game. Her family, because of her, was like basically one of the primary arms suppliers to like the civilians and the civilian military. Like we don't see that also in our real world, like a Black female or a Black family basically being defense contractors. And then that brings up questions about what do we think about the Second Amendment in this post apocalyptic dystopian American environment where magic is more powerful and guns are literally the only defense that civilians have, right? Like, because I had to challenge my own perspectives on the Second Amendment as an American. And I'm not going to get into my political leanings, but you can see how asking different questions produces a larger world in that context, right? And it helps to kind of branch your world out. So those are the two things I do. Is just basically keep asking questions. But I want to give you guys a kind of look into another really amazing professional's perspective on how to develop a really kick-ass, amazing story idea. And that professional, her name is Lori Shear. Okay. Um, so let me actually, and I don't even know why I'm not, is this being shared? It is being shared. Okay, y'all can see me. Um, Lori Shear is a really fantastic media professional who wrote this book called The Writer's Advantage. So I'm going to show you the book really quickly, and just to respect her copyright and respect, the things that she's done as an author and as a professional. I'm not going to take you through the whole book. That's mad trifling, but I am going to highlight some points that I think that you guys could really benefit from in that book. So let me stop sharing for a second. And then I'm going to reshare with, I'm going to show you kind of like the table of contents and talk through some of her points. And then I'm going to show you, she actually came to speak to a event that I was at the Screenwriters Network, where I was taking notes. And these notes stayed with me literally forever. And they're just things that I want to share with you guys because she had a really fantastic point around basically how to take an idea and make it super unique. And I just wanted to share a very general, vague overview with you guys as to what those points are, because I really do think that you guys should invest in the book. All right. So this is just me hyping up her book because it really is that amazing. So the book is called The Writer's Advantage, A Toolkit for Mastering Your Genre by Lori Shear. Okay. And so let me just take you to the table of contents. Oops. Okay, so she has a lot of stuff, a lot of background info, a lot of insight. Every single page of this book is going to have you just in a chokehold. All right, but the part that I actually want to focus on here, and I wonder if I can make this bigger. No, that's the search. What the heck? No, I don't want the customer service chat. Get out of here. Okay, can I make this bigger? Yes, I can. Okay, team. Uh, Now I done lost my place. Okay, period. Okay, so a couple of places I want to highlight for you guys. I don't, and you guys, let me just double check and make sure you can see my screen. Okay, yes, you can. Okay, so if you don't read anything else in this book, you need to read chapter 5, the genre toolkit list. Okay, this is really where she goes in on how to take something with a typical genre, like a typical dystopian concept, and make it fly as hell. Okay, so she goes into like what your genre is, the different types of genres, and sort of how to read genres, how to understand and break through genres. She also goes into the 36 plots, also an amazing, mind blowing chapter. Okay. And in the 36 plots chapter, she asks you, after you have identified your genre of interest, for me, that's dystopian, love dystopian genre. And I always felt like dystopian could do even better than it is doing. It's doing phenomenally, let me not hold you, but it can do even better, right? She goes into the 36 plots and specifically on how to identify your genre's quintessential text. Okay. The quintessential text in Laurie Shear's world is basically finding the, like, if you're super interested in dystopian, like, find the one movie, the one TV series, the one novel series that screams dystopian, right? Screams, like, so if I were to say, um, like, what is the quintessential YA dystopian media text? A lot of you would say Hunger Games, right? Either the novel series or the movie tetralogy. Okay, it is a quintessential. It has all the elements of a YA dystopia. It centers a young, usually female, but not always character, right? Love triangles involved. You have an impossible situation that she's put in with a larger, strict, basically authoritarian regime who have made rules that are kind of impossible to break, but she ends up breaking them for a specific personal reason, usually family related or related to like a larger, desire to make a change. But usually a lot of these YA dystopian characters are specifically driven by a personal stake. In Katniss's situation, her sister gets picked for the Hunger Games. She was like, I'm not having that. I volunteer as tribute, right? Um, in Maze Runner, essentially the main character is picked, right? But he's picked for a specific reason. And I'm actually not going to reveal that because it's actually a really good series to read and to watch. But he is picked for a very specific reason. And he is torn out of his world, or, I won't reveal anything, but he's torn out of his world to move the plot forward in a specific way. All right. You think of another series, the Divergent series. She has to make very specific choices, but that's more of an internal push for herself, and that was sort of an interesting thing. So you can think about the stereotypical dystopian YA dystopia, like those are the quintessential texts that come to mind. She takes you through the process of breaking down the quintessential text in the how to identify traits, right, in that quintessential text. But then she also takes you through a process of how to not only break down that quintessential text, but then how to make each aspect of your own idea unique, right? She teaches you how to do the same but different. So I really highly, highly encourage you guys to invest in this book. And I will reveal to you a part of the worksheet that I have put together. Again, I cannot reveal the whole thing because I do not want to trample on this author's work and anything that she does. And I think that you should definitely buy the book. And I don't want to like make any money or get any clout off of her work, but I did essentially like take my notes and like reverse engineer the talk and the book into a worksheet that works for me. So I'll show you the first page of that, just so I'm being respectful to the author. But I created a master your own genre worksheet. And I wonder too, I hope I'm not misremembering this. I wonder if she even offered this worksheet, but it's okay. I'm only showing the first page. So hopefully that will be sufficient and also respectful. Okay, and then after this little mini lesson, we are, of course, going to go right. All right, so let me share this with you guys. So here's the Mastering Your Genre worksheet that I put together, or that she put together, and then I kind of like built on it. But as you can see, the first step here is that you're going to write down what your genre is, whatever it is. Then, which is the second step in her process, you're going to go through and name your top favorite films and TV shows in that genre. And I also, for you novelists out there, I would also endeavor to name any books, right? Or any like serialized series that appear in this genre. All right. That's just a general, like you naming your favorite media. Then you're going to do an analysis, right? Or like pick a quintessential text. So you got to identify the texts that have appeared historically within your genre that best represent your genre and the type of text you're writing. Okay, so you might see some synonymity here between number 2 and number 3. Like maybe your top favorite films and TV shows and novels are the quintessential texts, right? For vampire lore, your favorite vampire series might be the Vampire Diaries, or True Blood, right? But a quintessential text for vampire lore would be Dracula. It would be Anne Rice's entire franchise. You know what I'm saying? Interview with a Vampire. Those are quintessential texts people recognize as like the establishing texts of the vampire genre, right? And then you want to, I'm just going to take you through number 4. You're going to ask yourself what the traits are of this genre based on your top favorite media and your quintessential text. You're going to ask yourself what traits are inherent to your genre and what has been working throughout most of the successful texts in said genre. Make an exhaustive list. All right. So those are the first 4 steps you take to establish what is conventional in your genre. And then in the next couple of worksheet pages, as you can imagine, obviously, and I'm going to stop sharing, you're going to take all of that information and then start to build and develop off of those conventions, right? You're going to start to put your own secret sauce in there, all right? For Stephanie Meyer, if we're sticking with vampire lore, vampires are sparkling, and there's imprint situation going on with the werewolves or what have you. I don't know everything about Twilight, to be very fair. I didn't actually read the series, but like she clearly put a spin on it that resonated with other people. Like regardless of how you feel about the series, like clearly it resonated with others. But she put like a slight spin on it. Love it, hate it. That's what she did. That's what you need to do to start fleshing out your ideas. Figure out what's already out there and then figure out essentially what's important to you. Are you chasing down a sociological question, a philosophical quandary that's bugging you? Are you interested in like, did something happen recently? Like you just went through a really rough breakup that was really dysfunctional and crazy. And you ask yourself, what if this were like 2 werewolves going through the same stuff that I'm going through? You know what I'm saying? Like build off of your experience, your interests, your questions, and then go get Lori Shear's book. Okay, I will say that. So FYI, of course, I'm going to put the link down below to Lori Shear's book. I highly suggest you read it. And yes, it is an affiliate link because like, why not? So just FYI though, it is an affiliate link, but I never recommend anything to you guys that I just truly do not believe in and that I haven't used myself and that hasn't made me feel successful as a creator. All right. So having said that, I'm going to have to like wrap up and launch our writing session. But before I do, give me 1 second. I'm going to show you what is on offer for today in Colby's Creative Cafe. All right. So hold on. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me just present. I gotta like get to understand how to move back and forth between these things. Okay, so before we start our little write-in, let's do the writing prompts really quick. So, time to flesh out your ideas. Here's your sci-fi action writing prompts. I'm not going to read it out because you guys can read it yourselves, but we're basically for each prompt asking you about the central idea or essential basic idea, and you're doing some free writing, right, with some help along the way. So for sci-fi action, you're free writing about how technology might evolve or malfunction, leading to thrilling action scenes. For dystopian, you're doing the most intriguing societal collapse or control mechanism. You're going to free write about how the system of control could evolve, spark rebellion, or twist into something darker. For fantasy, you're going to free write about how a magic or myth could evolve, become corrupted, or reveal hidden truths. And for fantasy romance, you're going to free write about how this specific romance might be tested, deepened, or transformed by the fantasy elements in your world. And again, think about how to evolve the genre conventions or feed your story with your own personal experience or your personal questions or things that you really care about. I'm going to come back to the screen as we start our writing session, but first, let me just re-announce to you guys that Colby's Cozy Cafe is officially open. And I have not just one, but two giveaways out here for you guys. The first is the Cozy Creator giveaway that you see here at the bottom. All right, so click the link in the description below to join for a chance to win one of each of these categories: cozies, goodies, hobbies, and drinkies. And I'm also opening up a Manga Madness giveaway where you can enter for a chance to win a complete manga, comics, and animation creator kit valued at $400. And I'll explain to you guys tomorrow why I'm doing this Manga Madness giveaway, but we'll leave that for tomorrow. And then if you also see the description below as you're writing, click to get any one of these or all of these if you want, amazing free sci-fi and fantasy novels. You can also click the link below in the description to go and download those novels if you want. And I don't know why the book of the day, Laurie Shear's book, is not appearing here, but the link to her book will also be available in the description below and in the follow-up that I'm going to be sending out. Okay. All right, my love. So we are going to add some music here, and we are going to basically get to writing for the next hour. Okay. So here are your prompts. I'm going to actually come off the screen. Let me turn off my camera. Boom, boom, boom. And let me put on some music, and happy writing. I'll be right here with you, writing along with you. If I can find this music. Here we go. Happy writing. All right, team. In about a minute, we're actually going to wind it back down. This has been a really great time, hopefully, for you guys to sit and flesh out all of your ideas around your story. So, I hope that you did a little bit of idea development. And then I also hope that you followed that up with some actual writing of your actual manuscript. Okay. So, just FYI going forward, This live is going to be anywhere from an hour and a half up to 2 hours long. It depends on essentially like how much time I have, with the minimum of being an hour long, with the first 20 to 30 minutes being like the mini writing lesson. So obviously, I'm going to try to keep this to minimum an hour and a half, maximum 2 hours. And in a super tight pinch, we might have to do some speed writing in the hour long sessions, depending on what's going on. Also, please pay attention to the invites. If you're on my email list, make sure that you're looking at your inboxes, or wherever you're following me on social media, whether that be on Instagram, Facebook profile, Facebook page, my YouTube channel, and LinkedIn. Just make sure that you're paying attention to the actual updated invitation, updated announcement of my next live. Sometimes, unfortunately, I do have to make some last minute changes based on the fact that things are happening. There are always going to be things happening. And sorry, team, I don't know. Let me just put do not disturb because whatever. Okay, there are always going to be things happening. That I can't necessarily always control. So I have to reorganize or reschedule the live, either to be early morning or in the evening, et cetera, et cetera. Also, just like the majority of us writers, I also work full time. So I have to schedule it around that and other obligations. So in short, just pay attention to the updates that you might be getting on whichever social media channel you are following me on so that you know when you can pop up. And of course, feel free to, sit down at your own pace, at your own time that fits best for you so that you can do the writing that you need to do because your schedule might not be my schedule, and that's totally okay. All right. So I hope you guys had a great time writing and creating. And I just want to close this live out by reminding you that once again, our Cozy Cafe is open, and these links, the pictures look great, but the links are in the description. These links will be up essentially for pretty much the majority of the month. And as promos close, obviously, like I'll give you guys announcements and let you know, like last call. But most of the promos that I am involved in this month for free sci-fi fantasy novels, the giveaways, the majority of them are lasting the entire month. And so as I am giving you guys more opportunities, more promos, more giveaways, I'm just going to keep building on all the links in the description. But I do want to encourage you to join our Manga Madness giveaway, to join the Cozy Creator giveaway, to grab as many of these amazing free sci-fi and fantasy novels as you can, including mine. I included a novella, called The Camille, written by me, Colby R. Rice. So if you're interested, check it out. It definitely touches on like the tech slash cyberpunkish slash AI slash bot situation that's happening nowadays, the robot girlfriend, the robot boyfriend situation. So definitely check it out if you're interested in that. And also do not forget to grab the book of the day. This is bothering me that, what? Hold on, y'all. It's really bothering me that you guys cannot see the book of the day. Hold on one second, because there we go. Love it. So don't forget to grab the book of the day, which is called The Writer's Advantage by Lori Shear. The link to that is also below. Okay. So let me stop sharing. And I just want to say thank you for joining me. And don't forget to join us tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday, so I will be streaming at 8 a.m. sharp tomorrow morning with probably a 1.5 to 2 hour writing sprint. After I give you guys a lesson on world building. So that's our next topic that's up. And I hope that you guys join me. All right. Anyway, I'm signing off. This is Colby R. Rice. Keep creating, keep writing, keep being amazing, keep showing up. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.